Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori, and today I am jumping on really quick to give you guys a sneak peek of a small late summer book haul. I am leaving in like 20 minutes, but I really wanted to get this video filmed so I can show you because I am so excited about the books that I have been getting in the mail this week, and I wanted to share with you guys. I've been going a little crazy on the buying fantasy books front because I've been watching a lot of Fantasy BookTube again, and it feels amazing. Shout out to my favorite fantasy booktubers. You guys have been so inspiring. These books, so excited about it. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about these, and I still have a few books coming that I may or may not mention, or I'll just wait for another book haul. The first book in the pile is a book that I already owned, and that is Steven Erikson's Garden of the Moon, which I am planning to start rereading. I have read up through House of Chains already, but I want to go back and reread the series, starting from Gardens of the Moon, because I feel like now that I've read through 4 of the books, I really have a good rhythm and understanding, and I would really like to go back and kind of jumpstart myself into finishing the series again. I want to reread it again, and I did not want the mass market paperback because those are tough to read, and for a book like this I need a little bit more space, and this feels a little bit less daunting. The next book in the stack is Dawnshard by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I have seen other people have this in their book hauls, and I knew that it was tiny, but like, this is literally the cutest little hardcover book I have ever seen in my life. I love it so much. I am going to be reading this in preparation for my Rhythm of War vlog, which hopefully will be coming out probably in the next couple of months, is the plan, and so I wanted to make sure that I got Dawnshard in before I jumped into Rhythm of War, because I know that this comes, it's kind of like a 3.5. Then I have 2 Japanese books. I have a manga, which is called A School Frozen in Time. So basically the premise of this book, from what I understand, is there is a group of students who are locked in a classroom, and they are suddenly frozen in time. One of the students has died, and I can't remember exactly how, if it's a murder situation or what, but they're frozen in time, locked in this classroom, and they have to figure out which of them is the one who has died. I wanted to read a little bit more manga this year, and this one was one that my friend was reading, so I thought it would be kind of fun to pick one up that sounded interesting, that I could do kind of a mini buddy read with her. The second one that I bought is actually more in, as you can see, novel format, and this one is called The Strange Adventure of a Broke Mercenary, and I'm just going to read you the back because this one sounds like a really fun, like, little mini fantasy lovers novel. I'm excited about it. One by one, the mercenaries who raised Lauren fell in a terrible, bloody battle. The lone survivor in a hard world with only his wits and his sword to his name, Lauren hires himself out as an adventurer. His new party, however, proves all too willing to run headlong into danger, using him as their meat shield. Only the party's sly priest sees his true worth, just as Lauren sees hers. They must rely on each other, or else neither of them will live to see the end of their first adventure. So this one, again, it's going to be just a little bit of a light novel in between some of these other chonker books that I'm reading right now, and it sounded interesting, and the artwork is really beautiful. So this is Volume 1 in the Strange Adventure of a Broke Mercenary. Then I picked up this novel Almond by Won-pyung Sohn, and this is a, I think YA is the genre that it's categorized in, novel by a Korean author that's been translated into English. Another one of my goals for this year is that I wanted to read some Asian authors that were translated, and this book came very highly recommended, and the main protagonist in this story is a young man who suffers from a brain condition that essentially robs him of, like, feeling normal emotions. Through the story, he goes through some really hard times, ends up, I think, making a friend, and then it kind of shows, like, how he struggles through both the trauma that he's experienced, having, you know, not normal emotions, and then also trying to navigate this friendship. I just thought it sounded like a really good book. It's a pretty short book too, so it's, again, another really good one for in between some of the fantasy novels that I've been reading. And checks off the box of me wanting to get into some more Korean, Japanese, etc. Asian authors this year. All right, next I have 3 big fantasy novels. I have some more coming in the mail, so there's going to be more fantasy showing up on my shelves. And my problem is I really need to work on like finishing series before I start new ones, because I'm notoriously awful about that. I just realized that my eye looks super gross and bloodshot. That's because I was up until 3 a.m. yesterday writing, so that's why I'm fine. Anyways, so I need to get better at finishing series before I start new ones. I'm horrible about that, and so I am going to try and finish both The Faithful and the Fallen and Book of the Ancestor, Holy Sister. Speaking of Holy Sister, this is the one that came in the mail. This is one that came in the mail this week, and this is the 3rd installment in Mark Lawrence's Book of the Ancestor. I have already read Red Sister and Gray Sister, and this is the 3rd and final installment in the trilogy. Very excited to finish out this trilogy and see how Mark Lawrence is going to tie all of these ends together, and what is going to happen with the world, but especially with Nona and some of the other characters that I've come to love. Kettle, I love Kettle. So yeah, excited to read this and finish out this trilogy so I can add it to my completed trilogies list. Now I have a novel that I am enormously excited about, and that is Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio. This book I have seen recommended by several of my favorite fantasy channels. Patrick Leo was the first one that I saw who recommended this book. So I was really curious, so I went and I read the synopsis. It sounds amazing. This seems like a very complicated situation as far as Hadrian, the main protagonist, was responsible for a lot of people dying before this book started, and he's kind of a pariah warrior from what I'm getting. And for those of you who've read this book, if I'm totally butchering the synopsis, I apologize. But this is just what I'm understanding of it going into it. I wanted something that was gonna be like slightly similar flavor to something like Pierce Brown's Red Rising, and this just feels like I'm gonna get a lot of that same atmosphere, hopefully even on a bigger scale, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. I believe there are 4 books in this series, and I'm gonna start with the first one and we're gonna try it. I'm super, super excited about this. I actually discovered that Christopher Ruocchio has a small Facebook group where he interacts with his fans and gives writing progress and everything, so I joined that, and right away he said hello and I popped in the group and introduced myself, which was super nice. I'm just super excited to read this and support Ruocchio as an author. I have heard amazing things about this series and I cannot wait to get started. Last but not least, I have 2 offerings from the author Brian McClellan. And I have had the Powder Mage trilogy on my TBR for ages, and it's been high up on my TBR. I am telling you, I've been wanting to read this book so bad for 2 years at least. Guns, swords, mages, I'm just like, throw it all together, sounds amazing, and I've heard really great things about McClellan's writing, so I'm very excited to get into this trilogy and see how we feel about McClellan's writing. Jumping the gun a little bit and assuming that I was gonna love the Powder Mage trilogy, because I'm pretty sure I am, it seems like something that's gonna be very much up my alley, I went ahead and I ordered this beautiful hardcover copy of In the Shadow of Lightning, which is the first book of the Glass Immortals series/trilogy. I'm not sure how many books are going to be in this. This is a new release from Brian McClellan, and I really liked the concept of it. It's a lot of magic surrounding glass and different types of glass that have different properties to it, and I just think that sounds really interesting. And the main conflict of the book is that this magic source in glass is running out, and therefore we have people trying to hoard it, trying to misuse it, overuse it, etc. And I am very curious to see what McClellan writes in a very different vein than the Powder Mage trilogy. So as you can see, I'm set for a while, and this isn't even all of the books that I've bought in the last few weeks. I have quite a few more fantasy novels coming. I have Valor by John Gwynne, the second installment in The Faithful and the Fallen, which has been taking forever to get here, and I'm mad about it because I finished Malice last week and I want to keep going because I need to know what happens. I'm excited to read, oh my gosh, all of these, and I will let you guys know what I think about them all and stuff. So let me know in the comments what new books you guys have been either looking at buying or have bought recently and what you're excited to be reading right now. And I hope you all have a fabulous week, and I will see you in the next video.